the first thing that you did? Did you hop in the shower? Did you run towards the door to take up the newspaper and read the headlines? Or you went for jogging? All our life, all that we do is basically based on habits. We can always say, no, I decided to buy that cloth. It was not. It was all because of habits. Whether we spend or whether we save, the decisions that we take are generally habits. Let's then start with where the evidence of habit comes from. Eugene Pauly, or E.P., as the medical literature will come to know about him, was suffering from a viral disease. In some rare cases, this virus creeps into the brain and eats off delicate tissues where our thoughts and memories reside. So as a result, Eugene remembered everything that happened with him before 1960. He remembered which village he grew in, he remembered which school he went to, but he had absolutely no memory of whatever happened to him after 1960. Because he had few chunks of his brain, his few chunks of his brain had been eaten by a virus. The person who could not draw the map of his house had absolutely no trouble finding the way to the bathroom. Such questions and other questions similar to this led to a discovery that scientists came to know that somewhere in our minds we have something called as basal ganglia that is there where habits are formed. With Eugene, they did many experiments. So they tried to bring him back again to normal. He remembered the way to the kitchen, he remembered how to make breakfast, but he didn't remember how many times he had breakfast that day. Then they started making experiments with him. They made him walk around a certain block every day. And after 20 or 25 weeks around, he was able to take that walk every day on his own. But he used to find difficulty if there was wind, if there were leaves on the road, because the pattern had changed. The brain had recorded earlier that the path was absolutely clean, that there was no siren somewhere, or there was no rains when he recorded those paths. So he used to sometimes he used to get lost in the blocks, but most of the times he used to come back, take a walk, and come back to the same place. After this, in MIT, they started probing rat's brain with electrodes, and they made an experiment in which in every click the gate opens, the mouse goes to the path, and at the end of the path there is a chocolate. So every time the click sound is heard, there is a signal, there is an explosion of signal in the mouse, in the brain of the mouse. And every time we keep repeating this experiment, we come to know that the signal is only there at the start and at the end, when chocolate actually, mouse gets the chocolate. And during this time, the signal reduces in between. So we came to know that over the period of time, the mind goes to sleep, and there is an automatic routine that comes into picture. This process in which our brain converts these automatic sequence of events into habit is called chunking. Our daily routine, every day that we do, some are really small, like you take a toothpaste out, you will obviously have it on your toothbrush and you put it in your mouth. You don't even think twice about it, because that's a habit. In this way, if we have to define what habit is, we can divide habit into three parts. First is the cue, that is the trigger, that tells our brain to choose which automatic sequence to pick up and go to sleep. After that, there's a routine, which can be emotional, physical, or mental. And after that, there is a reward, in which the brain wakes up and sees if the reward is worth remembering this pattern again. So every time we do this, every time this sequence gets converted and we get a nice reward, the brain tries to remember the routine and the cue which triggered this reward. This similar with rat experiments, we did it with a gorilla, and then they concluded gorilla used to get irritated if the juice did not come after pressing certain set of levers. So then the scientists concluded that this cue and the reward gets intertwined with anticipation and craving that we say. So that's why every time the animal picks up or fixes certain levers, if the juice did not come out, she used to get agitated. This explains why we do what we do. It's generally a sense of doing the same sequence of events again and again until it becomes a habit. And the golden rule to change our habits is, there is only one golden rule, and we need to remember that habits cannot be extinguished. They can only be changed. So if you have a bad habit, you need to keep the same cue, you need to provide the same reward, and you need to change the routine in between. Just like Alcohol Anonymous, an estimated 2.1 million people every year go to AA in order to get rid of their alcohol habits. About 10 million people have so far, they have been able to remain sober through this Alcohol Anonymous society. What they actually do, they tell each person who goes there, they tell what is the thing that drives your habit loop. Find the rewards, and mostly intoxication is not one of them. They say they want to escape, they want to they want to relax. That's why they want to blunt their anxieties. That's why they have alcohol. So they say that whenever you have these cravings, you do something else. You spend time with others. You talk to them. You will not have that drive, and then you can eventually quit. If you want to quit smoking, you need to find out what craving was there initially and what reward you got at the end. You need to keep the same routine, same reward and same cue, and change the routine in between. Certain sets of same type of actions cannot be true for all people. So we need to always derive between cue, routine and trigger, cue, routine and reward. What reward we are going to give ourselves if we are going to change the bad habit. I would like to end with a quote, and it says, "We are what we do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit." Thank you.